when we talk about 10 items in the backlog, you need to estimate all of the items, how much time, how much effort it would take to complete those 10 items. And that's why we call them as sizing. That's important. You're not talking about the days. You're not talking about the one person might be taking 10 days to complete it, whereas the other person might take 1 day, depending on the experience. That's why what we do is we do the sizing. It doesn't matter. So again, going back to the example of the painting the house, you don't ask like, how much time do you have? Do you want me to finish off in 2 days? No. The first and foremost thing that the painter would ask is the size of the house and what does it take? Similarly, the first thing that you would like to ask in terms of building an e-commerce website is the number of pages. What is the functionality you would need? The number of pages, the kind of functionality you would need, for example, could be building a shopping cart, building a catalog. How many products do you have? And then the payment processing, who does that? Is it your responsibility or somebody else? Yeah. And then how do you actually kind of accommodate all of these in the context of the mobile application? So mobile application, or is it only website? Does it have to be a responsive website as well? So all these things, which kind of operating system should it be used? Is it for iOS or is it for Android if it's a mobile application? If it's a web application, should it be hosted on a Linux environment or should it be? So all these questions would actually give you a fair idea in terms of how you would like to approach, where you would like to host this. So similar to the point about the painting the house, the fundamental aspect is the size of the piece of work. It's not the effort, it's not the cost, nothing else. All of those would follow from the size. So if you ask me, the way I would approach anything in this in estimation is, first thing, estimate the size. Next, estimate the effort that is involved in carrying out given the size. So size is the fundamental. After size and effort, you look at the number of resources that you have. It could be the number of people, number of tools, applications. For example, is it only hosted on the Linux environment? Don't bother about mobile application. That's fine. Need not be responsive. Or if they say, I won't have this. So that's also resources. Should it be scalable to 5 servers? Should be network balanced? Should be load balanced in terms of the network? So all these things need to be factored in. These are the resources. There's the soft and the hard resources. And then once you have the size, the effort, and the number of resources, you would then be able to come up with a schedule, whatever you call it as, the duration, the number of days, the number of months, the number of years, number of hours it would take to carry out the task. And then finally, given these four, the size, the effort, the number of resources, and the schedule, you'll be able to arrive at the cost. Because you've got an idea now with the resources, it could be a simple case of number of resources times multiplied by the resources, for example, by each rate of the resource. And then you would arrive at the particular cost of the resource, add to the cost of, for example, variable costs and the fixed costs, for example, the hosting, for example, Google Cloud or Amazon AWS or whatever, they have a fixed cost. It doesn't matter in terms of how you would like to host. There's a fixed component and then there is a variable component. So you actually add all of these components and finally arrive at the resource cost. And that's the total cost of development or total cost of ownership. So I would still reiterate, whatever you're estimating this whole world, whether it is IT or non-IT, start with the size as a fundamental measure. Size up. Look at what is the quantum of work involved in the first place, then the effort, then the resources, then schedule, then finally the cost. So that's how it would really work. It's not the other way around.